away from the intern and come out with your pants up!
16th comes in right here.
It's the minute you started it all! Where? Mr. Confetti Man! Ah, there he is!
Better late than never. Hey, 148. How you doing, man?
I just, yeah, that's right. Nice to see you.
I don't care.
Where's the 1 year anniversary? Get that up.
Come on up.
Yeah, put the 1 year anniversary. Right here. Last photo. Great purse.
Good to see y'all. How you doing?
Hey, Treason.
Double anniversary here.
All of this was started by Mr. Confetti Man, who is the famous one standing right behind us with the fire the liar, jail to the chief, it's the law stupid signs. He actually just started the whole protest thing in front of the White House, came down here by himself at first, and people started joining him. Then when we had the incident where one of our protesters was beaten up in Philadelphia, Don Adams, he was there with a lot of Free Republic people and got beaten up by a bunch of Teamsters. Then he had charges pressed against him because he wouldn't drop the charges against the Teamsters who beat him up. So that sparked a big outrage by Jim Robinson, the owner of FreeRepublic.com and the founder of the whole thing. So he decided he wanted to come sit in front of the White House with a protest sign, and about between 4,000 and 5,000 people glommed on, and that was the March for Justice, and that all happened in 3 weeks, which the 1 year anniversary of that will be October 31st.
The story is you were the first one down here. Is that correct?
That's right. It was about a year ago, exactly a year ago, more or less. It's today, Saturday, September 26th.
How long were you alone down here?
I had planned to be down here from 8 until 12. I had been contacted by another local free person who told me he would try to join me. I got here at 8, if memory serves. He was here from about 9:30 until 11, and then I hung around until noon. My first visit down here was quite frightening, walking, the first time by this big house with a sign all by your lonesome. And during the course of the morning, I was down by the East Gate here, and a man and his family approached me, and he stuck out his hand and said, "I wanted to thank you for what you're doing." And it really was just meant a lot to me.
I worked for my congressman back home in the district. I just moved up here 3 months ago. And when I was working in the district, one of our constituents came in every week. He brought me an entire printout of everything that Free Republic had done all week. All the postings, everything you were talking about. And I would go through it, read it, and I would send it up to my congressman. And that's how I found out about Free Republic. And I would love to tell him today, he was the one who introduced me. So thank you, Bruce. He was the one that started it off for me.
Because it needs to be done. Somebody needs to take a stand and say, this is not America.
These people hurt Americans.
Come out and hold a sign.
I went to the clemency hearing that was held last Tuesday in Congress. It was not put on C-SPAN. It was not put on live. So that the American people could hear from the victims of the crimes that these terrorists committed. Diana Porter Atkinson is newly married, 6 months pregnant, on her way to meet her husband. He was in New York for a business meeting and went to a lunch appointment at Francis Tavern. Francis Tavern was bombed.
I started on October 2nd when Mr. Confetti Man had asked everybody to come down. He wrote his famous "I was there, where were you?" report of his brief on the 26th of September. And I saw that, and then the news reports came on the night before about the Don Adams beating, and it just kind of made me angry, and I decided I was going to come down. And there were 24 people here that day who came down. First time for everyone to do any kind of activism, protesting. The signs were all handmade, all kind of crude. We didn't know what kind of signs to bring or what the rules were or anything like that. And we just all showed up, and it was a wonderful experience, and DC chapter was born.
Over there in that building, that's the White House. That's where Bill Clinton lied under oath to a federal grand jury for which he was impeached. Now, the federal grand jury found his testimony so unbelievable that they were laughing at Bill Clinton when he was testifying. Is that the kind of man you want as President of the United States? Well, the thing that stood out in my mind, especially during the school year, last fall and winter and into the spring, was the large groups of school kids that would see our signs and see that we were protesting against President Clinton, and they would flock to us. And they would grab our signs and go, yeah, fire the liar, he's a bum, throw him out. And that was very, very inspiring. And most of the school classes that see us have flocked to us and done that, except for the ones where their chaperones say, don't hang out with those people.
Ladies and gentlemen, please disinfect your hands if you touch anything in the White House. Please disinfect your hands. Way to go, man. Anything in the White House. Sounds good. Take care.
All right, well, we'll just get a...
Oh, no. I was just kidding.
Just kidding. You're sure you're kidding?
You had us when we were down there talking to him.
No, I got some long shots of cars parked and stuff, but I wouldn't show anybody in uniform, and I know why. So we won't.
Oh yeah, I mean, poor job.
Well, we appreciate it. Thanks.
Eagles up. Can I bump a picture too? Sure. My mother's a Republican. It's disgusting. Would you like to come hold a sign? We'll take your picture. Oh, see, she loved me forever. She put me back in the will.
We're from freerepublic.com. It's an internet website. It's a conservative news forum and political action. We've been down here at the White House every Saturday for the past year.
Like quick information, that's what you need. You need to get educated.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you depart the White House, please make sure you wash your hands. Make sure your shots are up to date. In 1992, the Communist Chinese couldn't hit the United States with a missile. Now they have 23 aimed at us. Paranoid.
No, sir, it's a fact.
On information about the Chinese.
Sir, the Communist Chinese government has threatened 3 times to use nuclear weapons against the United States of America. They've threatened to nuke Los Angeles.
These are, I protested at the White House souvenir signs that we give out. One side says I protested at the White House, and the other side has a nice little saying.
The police are marvelous. The DC police and the White House Secret Service people are wonderful. They're very gracious to us. A couple of times, in fact, they've protected us from people who have been a little rough and who weren't interested in honest debate so much as intimidation.
Were these people like real crazies? Do you get crazies?
We get all kinds. Yeah, we've gotten a couple of crazies. There's one guy that shows up fairly regularly who talks about Trent Lott and George Bush and Democrats too being cannibals. The Kennedys being cannibals and eating the flesh of human beings is very strange.
If we do not throw Bill Clinton out of office, we are saying that any future president, your party, my party, anybody's party, can rule with impunity by blackmailing American citizens. Learn about Filegate. Learn about the Cox report. They are connected. The corruption in this White House threatens the way America works.
What?
For years and years and years, she was a Cubs fan.
She's a Cubs fan. It's not a Yankees fan.
Now I'm running in New
She
York.
couldn't even tell you who's playing shortstop.
Excuse me. Why are you calling this Ratchet? Just out of curiosity.
Well, you ever see the movie?
Yeah, I've read the book too.
Okay, and Nurse Ratched, 2 words to describe Nurse Ratched. Evil and manipulative. Evil and manipulative, running for senator in New York. They let go a couple of terrorists just to get votes. And you know what? They say, well, you know, they weren't convicted of doing any harm to anybody. You know what the real story is? Federal law at the time, they couldn't prosecute those people for the people that planted the bombs. They couldn't prosecute them for murder. Look, see that flag down there? That's Blair House. Go down there, and there's that green awning comes out. Look to the left of the doorway. On the fence is a plaque. The Secret Service officer died. A similar group with similar names and similar tactics tried to assassinate him in 1950. And there's a plaque to the Secret Service guys who died defending Truman against the same kind of people.
Y'all guys have internet access?
What was it like the first time you showed up here to Freed?
Very intimidating. Confetti Man was here by himself, and I almost didn't go over and introduce myself, and then after I introduced myself, I almost didn't go back and get my signs, but after about the first hour, I realized the polls were nonsense, that he didn't have 70% support.
Do you talk to friends and business acquaintances about doing this?
Yeah.
What do they think?
Some think I'm crazy. A lot of them are very happy that I do it. They think it's great that somebody comes down here and does it.
Especially being as attractive as you are, a blonde and everything, how do you get along with the folks in uniform around here?
Well, you know, they're typical chauvinist pigs. They think just because I'm a blonde, I'm easy.
No, I vowed to be as tenacious as Bill Clinton is in holding his office in my effort to drive him out of office.
Hey, this is the 1-year anniversary. Are you going to come back? You're going to keep going?
I think so, yes.
Why?
Yes, until he gets out of here. I'm hoping he'll resign. I'll never give up. I hope we'll impeach him again.
I'm not going to stop until he's out of the office. I guess there's 482 days to go, something like that. I'd like to get him beforehand.
It's the 1-year anniversary now. Are you going to keep coming? Are you going to be back?
We will be in front of the White House as long as there is a Clinton in the White House.
This is too good to miss. Just wonderful. Stay together, you people. You're like a bunch of cats.
Oh, I did? I got that mortgage and that big house in Westchester coming out a little short. Help the girl out.